I want you to spare a thought for your nature strip. We use them for our bins, they're a bit of a dog toilet, and we also put our stuff out for council cleanup. They really do take a pounding, but rather than being council's problem, why not think of them as an extension of your home? I've got the urge to verge, garden. The one thing I want you to take away from this project is check with your local council first. You know, there are 537 different councils across Australia, and they've all got their own policies on what you can and can't do on your nature strip. It's all pretty sensible stuff. Like, don't use plants that are going to grow taller than a metre. That way you don't block the view between drivers and pedestrians, and it's much safer at night. Another thing you need to consider is parked cars need space to open their doors. This council actually says you need 60 centimetres between the curb and the garden, which this certainly isn't, but you should check with your council. I have mentioned you need to check with your council, haven't I?
All right, come on,
And this is our little project. It's about 20 square metres, so I don't see why you wouldn't do it. It's going to extend this garden and make it feel much bigger. And like every garden project, it starts with the soil. So I'm going to remove all the weeds and grass and then decompact it with a fork. I also want to add some compost, but I'm not going to put in too much because we're not allowed to have a mounded verge. Part of good soil preparation is making sure you get rid of all your weeds. Now, it is much quicker just to rip the tops off. But if you get the fork in, you decompact and you make sure you get rid of all the roots as well, which makes sure these are never going to come back. Well, not for a while anyway. Part of our council guidelines are we need to allow access to the parking spots. So I've got a sleeper here and I'm splitting it down to each parking bay. I'm using a hardwood sleeper which is going to give us a lovely silver finish, and it also splits the garden bed up so it doesn't feel too much like a jungle. Now, one of the requirements is it cannot be a tripping hazard, but of course you'll be checking with council to make sure yours complies. Now, there's no real science to the layout of these. It's just more of a comfortable step to the road. When it comes to plants, you can choose whatever style you like. Of course, there are a few restrictions. Nothing spiky, nothing that grows too tall, and nothing toxic. Go to council, they'll tell you all you need. For this planting scheme, I'm taking inspiration from the inside of the garden. We've got some Loropetalum and some Alternanthera. So I'm going to use that purple. I'm going to use it in the salvias and the dahlias, and then also this fantastic little ground cover, which is called Ajuga.
Stepping aside, see what it feels like. Letting others do the job.
Salvias have to be one of my favourite plants just because they're so easy to care for. This variety is called Mystic Spires. It's going to grow to about 1 metre, so it's going to be fine for our council guidelines. Now, these absolutely flower their heads off for ages, and they're so easy care. Once they've finished flowering in sort of late autumn, early winter, you'll see new growth forming at the base. Chop off all the old stuff, and it will do it all over again. An added bonus, this is already bringing bees to the garden, so it's great for the environment. For a point of difference, I've got this Cotyledon. It's got this fantastic silver glaucous foliage, and this variety is called Blue Waves. I like it because it contrasts with the Ajuga and the purple of the salvias. It's a low-growing plant, about 30 centimetres, and it's tough as old boots. Now, I've planted a lot of plants in this garden bed just to show you what it could look like and give us a bit of instant impact. But you could spread the plants out and let them grow in, or you could even propagate them. What you need to do is just snap a bit off, you let that dry out, take off these end leaves, pop it in the ground, and it will grow. Ornamental grasses are a fantastic choice for your verge planting. They're low maintenance, they're hardy, water-wise, not to mention they're soft and fluffy so they don't scratch your car. This one is a Carex called Dusky Fountain. It's got this lovely cinnamon-coloured foliage, and it adds a great textural element to our planting design. Now, you may remember I said I was going to add compost to this soil to improve it. Well, I'm actually doing it in the mulch. This is a Droughtmaster mulch. It's a combination of compost and wood chip, so you get the best of both worlds. I'm using it here so we don't mound up the soil, and that keeps us within the council guidelines. You remember those, don't you? You know what they say in real estate? The most important thing is street appeal. And take a look at this. It looks absolutely fantastic. It makes this garden feel much bigger, and the best thing is you can share it with your neighbours.